Uh, Hi friends, welcome to Saathwic Infotech DevOps Learning Series. As part of this DevOps Learning Series, we have been seeing like how to write Unix shell script and how to create an automation and everything, right? So as part of that, we have created a script called EX4. So let us see the script VI EX4, right? So okay. So as part of that, we have been seeing like how to write the script, how to validate the command line arguments, how to test it, the number of arguments, like how to check the last executed command, return code, and everything. So, as part of the script enhancement, right? So, we are going to look at how do we save our log information, right? How to make our log file uh, permanently, how to save our log file permanently. Because, like now, if you look at now if you look at our log files are like kind of cleared once our session is clear, right? Which is not expected because all the script will be scheduled using some scheduler. So once after the schedule is completed, you cannot see whatever things has been printed on the screen. Okay, it goes off. So in order to persist our log files, we need to know how to create a log file and store all the log information so that in case of any issues, we can refer back in future. Okay, great. So before even knowing about creating the log file and using it and everything, right? We need to know one more important concept called redirections. Okay, what are redirections in Unix? Okay, in most of the programming language we have, right? So it's most commonly used. So for example, we have redirections like greater than symbol, which is used to write a file. We have a less than symbol which is going to read a file. Basically the input file will be used as an the file has been used as an input to some other process or commands. If I want to append a file, I will use double greater than in Unix. Okay, so let's create some sample file. Okay, for example, echo, we know echo is used to print some message, right? So welcome. So I have created a file called welcome. I put it like test. So what happens here is like, okay, the text welcome will be added to a file named test. Basically, when you use a single greater than symbol, it means that it's going to overwrite the existing file. So it will create a file. It means that if the file exists, it will overwrite. For example, let's see. So cat test. You see welcome. So let me add one more thing. Welcome to Saathwic DevOps series. So now again, if I use test, cat test, it will overwrite the existing welcome and replace with the new string whatever I have used. You see it, right? Now only you see welcome to Saathwic Infotech Dev series. Okay, now let me see how to append, right? So echo, hope you find this session useful. So if I want to append the existing file, I have to use test. Okay, now if I do a cat test, okay, you will see it has been added as a second line. It's an append. End of the file it get appends with. Okay, now Kumar, what are the use cases? How do I read it from a file? Okay, in most of the cases, right? Let me write a quick small shell script. View ex5. Let me create a script. So, for example, in instance, right? If I want to read the content of test file, okay, and do some other processing. Okay, let's see. While while read line. Okay, read is a command is used to read input from the user. Okay, so now I am saying read line. Okay, do done. Hope you remember the syntax, right? So what I am going to do, echo dollar line. Okay, so here if I input test, see now what happens here, I am giving the file test as an input to this for loop. So when I give some input to this for loop, what happens, the while loop read line by line from this file and print each line in for loop. For example, what I do, I will add one more statement, right? Echo line read from file. Okay, why I'm adding this? Just to differentiate, like, okay, this line will be printed after each line when it reads from a file. Okay, let us run this, right? Escape colon wq chmod 755 ex5. Okay, now let us execute this ex5. If you see, first it read welcome to Saathwic DevOps series. So once this is read, it print the default line whatever I given, light read from the line. So then the while loop reads the second line and it prints this. So how long the while loop will run? Till it reaches the end of the file. Okay. Now hope you understood how to create a file and how to append a file and everything like that, right? So now let's jump on into our example. Okay, before that what I will do, I will take a backup of ex4. It's for reasons, okay? So let me open vi ex4. So now if I ask to, if I want to implement my learnings, okay, the first thing is that, okay, what I can do here, I will do like greater than, okay, $0 maybe rather than this, right? What I will say, log file name equal to $0. So you know what is $0? It's a script name. So I am going to add log file name dot log, dollar log file name dot log. So our log file name will be the script name dot log basically. So I am going to add this statement after. Okay, all after each and every statement. So for the first statement I will use to create a file. From the second time onwards I will make sure this is append, because I don't want to create a new file for each line, right? Hope you understand by this time now. So I am going to append. Guys, remember, as I mentioned in most of the cases, right? There is no direct way or there is no one correct solution for any problem. Okay, every problem will have multiple solutions. So whatever we are discussing is one of the solution to write a log file. Okay, if you see some other scripts, it might have some other best way to write also. Okay, let's see, whatever the way I know, whatever the best thing I am following in my projects and day-to-day activity, that's what I am explaining to you guys. Just learn and understand those so that you will able to at least know what are the like basic industry standards. Okay, now let me save this file. Now if I execute ex4, let's see what happens. I don't see anything on the screen. Why I don't see anything on the screen? Everything get created inside a log file. Okay, now I don't see the log file here. Where is my log file? Do we see what is the path? Oh, I think $0 is not read properly. So it just got, maybe I did some blunder mistake. Log file name log filename equal to $0. Aha, my bad, my bad. If you see, everywhere I have used wrong file name, logi. You see, so I have copy pasted that. So everywhere it got us wrong file name. So let me fix that quickly. I think this is also good. I would say this is for good. Okay, so I want to change the log file name. I am changing it everywhere so that you will understand what is the exact issue. Hope now you understand, right? So in Unix, if you do something wrong and you don't know how to find, then it's all gone. You don't know what is happening. So that's what I mentioned, right? So you should be, as a developer, you should know how to take care of everything. That's why I always suggest you to understand the basics and do the coding. See, always you can refer Google, but end of the day, right, you should understand and do. That's more important. Okay, so okay, 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 great. So I did the changes. Let me execute it again. Okay, so now let me check if the log file is created. Yep, we got the log file. So let me view the log file. Copy. Okay, it says total number of argument passed is 0 and usage is ex4. Okay, now let me pass some arguments. ex4 Oracle. Okay, you see that, right? Something is displaying on the screen. Okay, why it's displaying on the screen? Ideally, it should be part of our log file, but why don't we see that in the log file? Any guesses? Okay, because we redirected one by one commands to the log file manually. So we redirected only the echo commands. So let's assume in case something like, right, being a human, you might miss one or the other thing to grab, like as we did now. We don't know like what has happened really right now. So in those cases, those lines get displayed on the screen. Again, even though you persist your log file, it's of not much help in case of an actual issue. Let's check if it's an actual issue, something else. My log file will say it got failed. What happened? Why it failed? You don't find the reasons in the log files. Okay, hope you understand. Mean to say that let's assume that, okay, if says user mod has some permission issue or something else, you don't actually see that in the log file. For example, let me say ex4 sampling. I give some username as sampling to lock. Okay, echo vi cat ex4 dot log. Now it says received one user sampling, started sampling, lock user validating, sampling does not exist. Okay, in this case it's fine. We got the warning because we handled it. If we did not handle it, again this would be missed. So there are cases, like some cases we might not miss to handle, some cases we might handle. So then the next question, Kumar, is there any better way of doing it? Yes, of course we do have one better way. I will teach you that too. Okay. Now, see what are the drawbacks of this mechanism? Okay, first drawback you guys might have seen already. If for a simple change, right, I just misplaced the log file name. So in all the lines wherever I used, I have to manually edit almost like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Almost 10 places I have edited the log file name because of an issue. Okay, so first issue, you will end up in doing any changes. For example, if someone says, okay, Kumar, you want to change the log file name in certain format, sir. So we don't want to, for example, let's say your development team or your manager calls you and say, Kumar, like let's retain the log files of every job run. So in our case, what happens? It keeps on overwriting the same log file for every execution. So someone says, hey, we don't want to overwrite this, man. Let's keep it as an individual logs. So that in case of, even if you miss to note something, what happened like fourth day, like 4 days ago, 5 days ago, we should be able to debug it. Then you have to do the changes in almost 10 to 15 places. Let's assume like if your script grown a lot, you will be doing the same changes in 100 places. So that's the first issue. So what is the second issue? So the second issue is that it will able to only capture the log information only about the comments which you explicitly mapped. What I mean is, for example, if any error happens in this variable assignment, those things will not be captured in your log file because you are explicitly saying to capture only the echo messages. Okay, so this is the second issue. Okay, third issue, all this log information by default capture only the output. Okay, let me come to that. Only capture to the output. For now, you remember that all the log information will capture only the output of the command, not an errors. Okay, okay. Keep that in mind. I will explain in detail in another few minutes. Okay. So let us go back. Let me back up this script. So let me revert the script back. Let me see what is the status. Yeah, okay, fine. We came to the original state, right? Because like the reason why I showed you all those approaches, because in still till today, I see many developers do that. Okay, which is not the right way of doing it. Okay, now let's come out. Okay, now I am going to teach you a separate command. Okay, which helps you to capture all the log messages. So what does it? Okay, in Linux we have something like exec. Okay, Kumar, what is this exec? Exec is something which will ensure it execute the Linux command inside the same bash. For example, if I see when I give ls, what happens? Your ls is getting executed in bash shell. So exec is an additional command. Internally, it does the same process. It takes an input and execute in your current shell or current session. Okay, now let's see. You don't see any differences in the script in the way it works. But what happens is it makes sure the subsequent executions are taken care. Okay, mean to say that, let me put it very clear, right? When you use exec, what it does is it ensures that it execute the parameterized command in the current shell. Means that in the same shell, it's similar to ls is same as exec ls. Okay, something went wrong. Okay, what happened all of a sudden? Did my server gone down? No, but something happened. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I accidentally clicked something else. Okay, so exe is the very key. Now let me show you something else too, right? Now I am going to execute a command. We read about redirection. Let me do. If I do exec sample.log, tell me what will happen. So exec is opening a session to write a logs. Basically, in the current shell, it writes all the log informations to this log file. Let me do that now. Okay, let me press ls. Do you see any output of ls? No. Let me put cat ex4. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now I did few steps, right? I did cat exe4. I did cd script. I will do like cat ex4. For anything, you don't see output on the screen because your exec is capturing everything in this particular shell. Okay. So now let me control Z. Let me put, no, it's still capturing. Okay, maybe exit out because it needs to come out of that particular session. su-devops. Okay. Now if I put ls, you will see something like sample.log. What it has done when I give exec greater than sample.log, it was capturing all the activity which has been done in that particular session or in the particular shell. Okay, hope you got it. So if you look at the sample.log, you will see whatever the command I executed, all the outputs. See, for example, I did like DevOps ls. So all the ls has been displayed. Then I did some wrong. Then I did cat of a script. Then I did some ls again. So everything, right? So all the things will get captured. So I am going to pretty much use the same in my script. So view ex4. Oh, sorry, where I am. pwd cd scripts. Oh, cd script. Okay, vi ex4. So now what I am going to do, let me go here, exec greater than $0.log. Okay, I am going to, pretty simple, I am going to do the same, nothing much. Okay, escape colon wq. Before I execute, let me remove this log file so that you guys don't get confused. Okay, let me execute ex4. Let's see what is happening now. You see that everything got captured. Okay, let me pass something else. What can I do? ex4. Let me give Oracle. Oh, see again. Even though I pass Oracle, still I see something on the screen which is not even captured in the log file. Why it happened? Let me explain that. There are few more things which you guys have to learn. Okay, guys. So we have discussed till now how to write a log files and everything, right? But apart from that, when we look about redirections, there are other three things which we need to really consider. Okay, what are those? Okay, those are nothing but standard input, standard output, standard error. Kumar, what are those three, right? What is standard error, standard output? Okay, standard input is nothing but whatever the input which we read from the users. Okay, the input, whatever you type in keyboard, it can be like username or command line arguments, whatever it is, right? It's in standard input. What is standard output? Anything which is the output given by a command which you get executed, that's a standard output. Standard error, any error which is getting generated by the commands what you execute, it's an error. Okay, so if you look at our ex4 script, right? If we look at our vi ex4, you see we are given something like exec greater than 0.log. Okay, so what happens here? So that's what I mentioned, right? Whenever we execute, let me try to execute and show you this, right? So ex4 Oracle. So what it's doing, when you give a greater than symbol log file name, by default, okay, it's a by default behavior, it captures only the output. It captures only the output of the script, not the error messages. So whatever you see here, it's a warning or an error message which will never get captured by the log messages. Okay, let us explain that. Okay, much more detail. So whenever you write exec greater than 0.log, it means it implicitly assumes that it's one greater than. Okay, this is one way of defining. Again, it's one way of defining. Okay, so now let me explain the same, right? AX4 Oracle. So you see the same thing, which is no different, right? It means it's going to capture only the output, nothing else. It won't capture any errors or anything. It captures only the output of the commands. Okay, let me rewrite it in the other way so that you better understand. Okay, so let me change this to 2. Let's see what happens. So what I mentioned 2 is nothing but standard error. So now what our script will do, it will capture only the error, not the actual output. Let's see. I am giving ex for Oracle. You see all the standard output on the screen, but not the existing user mod. So if you check your cat ex4.log, you will have only that error message. Means that it was only able to capture the error message because you given 2. Okay. Now you guys might have confused for sure. You will ask Kumar, if I give 1, it's only capturing this. If I give 2, only it can able to capture error. How do I capture both? Okay, so there is a simple way Linux define. If you want to capture both, come to the end and say 2, okay, greater than ampersand 1. Okay, by this you guys able to understand what I am giving. 2 greater than ampersand 1. What it means? When I give 2, it means that standard error greater than ampersand denotes that append to standard output. So it means whatever the standard error or standard output will get written into this log. That's what this means. So that's why like internal greater than and append comes into picture. Okay, so this is the exact syntax, guys. So just remember it. But the meaning is like again you are rewriting the standard error and standard output to this log file. That's a basic definition. Okay, even though it's confusion, but just remember this. Okay, this will be very helpful. Whatever Unix shell script you write, because wherever you go, you will see this as your first line. If it's being not written, ensure that you guys return it. Okay, this is very helpful. Okay, now let me run the same code now. ex4 oracle. Did you see any messages here? No. Let me see the log now. Oh, great. So this is the best way to create a log file in Linux. Okay, so that's what I want to explain. Okay, so you got now standard output, standard error. Again, input is really we don't care because we already tracked everything here. Okay, so fine. So guys, whatever I thought of explaining as part of this video, I have done. In case if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me. In case you need any clarification, just put down in the comment so that I will cover it as a separate video also. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you guys feel this is really helpful, please do share with your friends and colleagues. Please don't forget to like this video. Thanks again. Bye bye.